Mm-mm. There we go. LinkedIn was being funny. I said no. I said we gotta try again. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday, but introduce Taylor. Anyways, all right. So excited to hang out with everybody today. And basically gonna go over some pretty cool stuff. Gray and I have gone over it again, but Gray and I have gone over it in the past few weeks. But again, I mean, I think the way I view like streaming and just putting information out there, you really can't talk about it enough, right? And especially because we're all on our phones different times. We're obviously getting different types of information every time. So today we are going to go over we are definitely going to go over Discover Talent, which is essentially our platform, right? When we talk about platform, we have built our own app platform, whatever you want to call it, website, whatever. You log on and it's very interactive. So we're going to talk about Discover Talent, which is essentially how you search and find our best available talent within our platform. And then we're going to talk about GunAI, a pretty sweet new feature we just rolled out. But before we dive in, I'm going to introduce myself, and Gray, I'll get you to introduce yourself here in a second. My name is Taylor Desson. Obviously, my social media handle is here. I live on social media, so if you want to follow me, love for you to follow. I kind of do all things here at Gun. I bounce around. I talk about how I have corporate ADD, but for the most part, I focus on all things content and community here at Gun. So Gray, introduce yourself, big dog.
Hey everybody, I'm Gray Garner. I head up our product efforts here to build tools for hiring companies and for the talent on our platform, help them make connections.
There you go. Very simple, straight to the point. Also, we're both former musicians. So there you go. Kindred spirits.
There it is.
All right, well, let's go ahead and dive in, man. Let's if you want to go ahead and share your screen, because then I got to pull it up from a presentation perspective.
Yes.
We'll just kind of walk you through step by step on really how to use it. And again, we're approaching this, if you're watching this, we're approaching this from the company, hiring manager, I would say even founder, even recruiting side. I'm going to be honest, like my recruiting past self honestly would be very, very happy with this tool. So even if you are a recruiter, both internal and agency, I would highly recommend staying with us here for the next, we're probably going to go at this for the next 30 minutes. So, all right. So Greg, give us an overview of what we're looking at, man.
Okay, what we're looking at here is it's our brand new interface for anyone that's looking to hire talent. And it's a very simple interface. The idea is to have a really nice, comprehensive set of tools and a really easy to use and simple platform. So just starting at the top, you see Discover Talent, which is where we are today, which is where you actually can search and filter and find people that you may be interested in. And then we have a missions tab. And you can think of a mission as the hub for everything that you need to make a hire on the platform. So it takes care of the place where you organize the people that you're trying to meet. It's where you interact with our staff. It's where you ultimately request and schedule interviews, and we'll continue to build the functionality over time to do everything that you need sort of in the context of a mission. Back to Discover Talent. Yep. This is where you land as a new customer. And we say hello after you create your account, and we give you a little bit of an onboarding and some orientation, but ultimately you kind of land here and you can start poking around, searching through the talent community to see who fits what you're looking for. So on the left-hand side, you can see a lot of filters here. So you can filter by experience level. You can search for specific roles like full stack, back end, front end.
Sure.
We have a giant skills database. So basically any skill that you're looking for, you can pop that in and see who's got that skill on their profile. You can filter by location. So if you have either restrictions, maybe you're US only, or maybe you're looking for a global talent pool, you can specify that. In past industry experience, this is really important in like fintech or maybe in Web3 type of stuff. If you need somebody that's sort of been there and done that, you can filter by experience. what type of contract you're looking for. Is it a contract or is that a salary role that you're looking to bring someone on as an employee?
Yeah.
And then obviously, what kind of time commitment are you looking for? Is this a small sort of project? Or are you looking to bring someone on your team, sort of work full, 40 hours a week sort of idea? So,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna,
wanted to
yeah, go ahead.
if we can role play real quick just to kind of see like, how this would kind of work in real life. So
Yeah.
again, let's say I'm a hiring manager. Obviously, if you're a hiring manager watching this now or in the future, you're not going to have gray on like this, right? But we're just going to pretend that like, I'm doing this myself. So Gray, hey man, I'm really looking for a tech lead architect role.
Okay.
And it's going to be back end. We really need a lot of back end engineering help on our team right now. So we need to actually hire a handful of back end engineers. Our skill set we use on the back end is really just a mix of Python and Java.
Python, Java.
Yep. Java. Nope, have not done Java yet.
Yeah,
Java. It is a Spanish version of Java. And then location. I mean, honestly, we'd really like them to be obviously in the US, but we are also open to Canada TN visas, so Canada and Mexico as well.
Okay. And let's go. Let's see. Let's add all of North America.
Okay, cool, sweet. Yeah, that's fine.
It
That's
covers the
fine.
whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then industry experience. So we're in the e-com space.
Great.
And then honestly, man, I'm fine cobbling these 5 hires together on a contract or salary basis. So I'm open to either. The candidate's got to be open to going full time.
Okay.
But we can obviously vet that out when we get them started or during the interview process.
Right.
And then
exactly.
time commitment. Honestly, really need these folks kind of bought in 40 hours a week type situation.
All right. Let's put it that way. So thank you for that. So what you probably saw as we were plugging in those filters is that the results were updating all the time. And obviously, someone that when you said something like, "Hey, tech lead," that's going to rule out anyone with less than 10 years of experience. And so, and the same thing's happening when you choose a back-end engineer. We're going to find people that have their primary skill as a back-end engineer and reward that. A lot of you may see talent show up here that have something other than back-end engineer. Maybe you have a full stack engineer. Yeah, there's one. The reason that the back-end engineers are higher is because these guys have said, "Hey, back engineers is my primary role." So what you see is sort of an opinionated, automatically sorted, algorithmically sorted list of who we think is the best fit to the least best fit out of these 58 folks who meet all the criteria that you listed. So, makes sense so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me about those work experiences.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the highlights here are anytime we find a match with one of your filters. And so when we listed Python as one of the skills that we were looking for, we went through and found everyone that had Python and a work experience. And you can think of work experience like anything that you would put on your resume as a previous employment, a previous gig. The reason that we showcase that and the reason that we reward that is because if you have worked in a job in production with a skill like Python, then that's more important and it's a better signal of a match than someone just joining the platform and telling us they know Python. So
yeah, because in my experience with the 13 years of recruiting I've had, you can ask a developer how many years of React they have. They can say they have 5 years, but then when you actually dig into that second level, then it's like, well, you really only have about, a year and a half for React, because in terms of actually using it full time in your job was not a full time, 5 years. So I really do like this method right here.
Yeah, exactly. And so what you see here is obviously Salil, who we're looking at. The reason he's at the top is because of this 15 work experiences with
Oh,
Java.
that makes sense. Okay.
Right. So that's a lot of work experience with one of the skills that you said was really important to you. But what's interesting, and I think this is where it gets a little bit more subjective, is that if you look at the second candidate here, there's a little bit more equal blend between his work experiences. He's got 6 gigs with Python and 7 gigs with Java. So, hey, if Python is like sort of equally important, Michael actually might be a better fit for
Michael may
you.
be a better fit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So let's just assume that for a minute. Let's learn a little bit more about Michael. So you see the highlights at the top, and then we're now into his work history. So you can go through and see all of a description, basically like looking at a resume of all the work that he's done in the past. You see this one has both Python and Java in this particular gig. So we can read a little bit more about that. You can see, where he's had the role, and really go through and say, at this point, Michael looks pretty good. He's definitely going to be in my top 5, let's say. Looks like he has a lot of really great skill. You can look at some other stuff if you want to, but let's just assume that, hey, for all intents and purposes, Michael's pretty good. I might find someone better. I'm going to go ahead and add Michael to a short list, so it's easy to keep track of the people I think are going to be good fits. And so I'm going to add Michael to a short list, and here it's asking me to create a mission. And so, like I said before, the mission is really the organizing bit of everything that you're going to do here. And so since what this is called, we're looking for a tech lead, let's just name this mission tech lead, so that we know who all the talent that we save to this short list are going to be saved under. So it's a really easy name. So just a quick dialogue confirmation lets you know that the short list is saved, and you can find that under missions. Awesome. So now I'm back to searching. We know Michael's good. You can see Michael's card has been updated to let me know that I've added him to my tech lead short list. A little bit easier to keep track of when you can see it at this view as well. Let's check out Jeffrey. Looks like it's got some good stuff. 3 work experiences with Java. That's cool. Initial versions of our mobile app. Interesting.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. So I want to highlight this, which is one thing I really like about our platform. And I wonder if you could speak to this at a high level.
Yeah.
First off, we don't exchange resumes, right? Everything's built in our app. Everybody has to create their own profile, but also too, and I've had a lot of developers tell me this, they love it. They love creating their profile on the app, on the platform, whatever you want to call it, because we force them to actually write a really good resume / profile.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how we encourage developers to write a good profile?
Yes, 100%.
Because this is really good. Like, increase ad tech revenue over 25%, design next generation framework, improved integration with Amazon and Marketplace, reduced error rate from 19. I mean, like, not many people are writing resumes like this, but I think it's because of what we tell them to do. So unpack that real quick.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely it's a combo between what you can do and how this is structured in the app when you're actually building it. We ask you questions in a way that helps structure this in a way that's going to create matches for you. So that there's a little bit of like structured data here that is really important in terms of just the overall construction. But like you mentioned, maybe equally so, if not more so important, is when you're accepted onto the gun community, there's a team of people that are actually here to help consult and review your profile and provide resources and best practices for how to structure your resume. So you get basically a resume writing service baked in just to our DevRel team. And so Victoria, big shout to her, sort of heads up this effort and is always available in our public channels to review stuff, and has a ton of resources about what the best practices are for creating this. And really the overarching philosophy is to be outcome focused.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say I used a technology. It's another thing to say I used a technology to drive a business result, which is actually what a hiring company is looking for.
Correct.
Have you done this to drive a result, not just like play around with the technology? And so we really try and advise talent to express their experience in terms of like tangible deliverables. And I think that's a big difference in what you see when someone's just writing their own resume versus when they've kind of gone through our process of creating their profile. That seems to be the biggest difference, which ultimately is sort of speaking a hiring company's language.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. All right. So talked about that. So can we talk about, all right. So let's say I like Jeffrey and I add him a short list. Where does that short list go to?
Okay, let's do that. So we find when I want to add Jeffrey, we've already created this tech lead short
All right.
list.
Well, have we talked about missions yet?
No, we're gonna talk about that right now. So let's add Jeffrey to that. Let's add Jeffrey to that. So we can see added him to that short list. We know that we find short lists on mission. So if we pop over here, look at that. We found our tech lead mission. And so let's drill into that real quick. So what you see here is really the details page of the mission. You've got some settings up here at the top, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You see this short list, which is what we created, and we added Jeffrey and Michael to those things. Mm-hmm. We can click on either one of these profiles so we can be reminded, like, okay, what was Jeffrey's deal, Michael's deal. So we can do that. And then I want to talk about this a little bit too. There's a curated talent table here that we're not sourcing for yet, but let me tell you a little bit about that. What ends up happening when you create a mission is our internal talent team gets a heads up. Hey, mission's been created. A couple people have been added to a short list. What we're going to do at that point is partner up with you. And we're going to say, like, hey, give me a little bit more information about what you're building here. And I can go, and our talent team can go and find people that we know on the platform. We can do a little bit of sourcing for you. We can post a job on our platform that lets people opt in or raise their hand. Hey, I'm interested in this. We'll sort through all of those people who raise their hand for it. And we will curate who we think are the best fits on our platform to sit alongside the people that you've already found on your short list. And those things will show up here. So this is not, while you can do a lot on your own and you can go through this process on your own, we're always going to be here sort of alongside you to give a helping hand, find additional candidates. We'll be in the back end helping schedule interviews. We'll help you craft a deal. So there's a service element to what we're going to do with you as a partner while you experience the platform on your own.
Okay. So you're saying that if I'm hiring for this backend engineer and I've shortlisted Jeffrey and Michael, and again, I have to keep everything straight, need to set a mission first, right? Which is obviously what you're hiring for. So in this case, I'd be backend engineers. If I were to do, I'd say print these 5 to remind myself I got to hire 5 of them. So then I shortlist Jeffrey and Michael. So you're saying also too, whenever I create a mission in the platform, that I will also have the gun team also uploading profiles to this area too?
Absolutely.
Okay,
so that's
cool.
Absolutely what we do. And we use a combination of things. We like to have a chat so that we can kind of get into your head a little bit about, what are the soft skills that you're looking for? What are the nuances of what you're looking for beyond just sort of a skill match? And then what we do at that point is we go and do a whole process on our own to find people that meet that. Here's the thing: as good as those profiles are, someone may be in a gig right now that they're rolling off. They haven't updated their profile. It's a perfect match for you. We go through a process of accepting applications so people can say, like, hey, I'm really interested in that. I know it's not on my profile, which is probably why I didn't show up in the search, but I've done that before. I'm just rolling off a gig right now. I think I'd be a great fit for them. Great size company, worked in the industry, whatever that may be. So we can go alongside you and find some additional people that we think are a great match as well. Okay. We may have experience with them, and we can make that recommendation. What those recommendations also come with is a little bit of some rationale from our team about why we think they're a good fit. And then if you like them, you can add them to your short list and start scheduling interviews.
How do you schedule interviews from here?
It's a great question. So I'm gonna take us through the one thing that we have to do in order to schedule an interview. You have to the talent is going to want to know what the gig's all about.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
You got to have something to share with them that says, hey, here's what we're building. Here's how we're thinking about stuff. So I'll quickly go through that really quick. We call that the mission description. And it's a super simple set of fields here. It's basically like, give us a little bit about what you're looking for. Tell us whether or not it's a contractor salary position, and give us a general sense of what you're thinking about in terms of budget. So I've got a job description already. I'll just go ahead and paste that in. That'll work great as an introduction. I'm gonna say that this is we want to start, even though we ultimately may want to bring this person on full time. I'm going to start with a contract role because sometimes that's easier to work out. And frankly, like starting with a smaller engagement, is sometimes the best way to get started. And then I'm going to say like, all right, well, let's say, between $5,000 and $10,000 a month. I'll stub that in just to give someone a sense that, hey, they understand what quality talent costs. They've got a modest budget, but it's actually a legit interview and you should take it. So that's basically what you're trying to do is a soft pitch, elevator pitch to talent when you request interviews with them. So I'll go ahead and add that mission description, which unlocks then my ability to request interviews. Because when you request the interview, we're going to share what you just put in your mission description. Let talent decide if that's an interview that they want to take or not.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And then obviously the curated talent is where we would put our talent that we found as well. No, I love that. I love that. Am I missing anything else just in terms of walking through this process? I think that kind of leads up to the interview, which is pretty much the nuts and bolts of it, right?
It is. I wanted to show you the thing that I'm kind of psyched about.
Yes, please.
That we just released, which is our GunAI feature. So this is, I'm going to clear out all the filters that we made and show you how it works sort of from scratch. So GunAI is it's an AI bot that you can paste in a job description, and we will automatically set your filters for you based on what we know that we can parse out from the job description itself directly, plus infer some intelligence about what you may want to add to your filter list based on what the job description says. So I just very quickly went to LinkedIn and found a software engineering job and just copied it.
Okay.
And so just to simulate, hey, someone coming to the platform for the first time, they're hiring, they've got a job description written up, they've signed up for the platform, they drop in to discover talent here. This is called trygun.ai. So if you have a job description, which we do, I'm just going to paste that in. You'll see it looks like a job description that you've seen 1,000 times. We're hiring software engineers. I can scan through it and see we're like Python, some to-dos, 2 years of experience. Okay, interesting. Rust. So I can quickly scan and see that looks like a typical job post that you would see out there. So when I hit next, we use our model to then come back very quickly and with some recommendations of what filters you should plug in over here to find talent on the platform. So we suggest the engagement type. We suggest experience level. And it was really interesting. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but they in the opening paragraph, they said, we're looking for people with deep experience. And then later on, they said, we're looking for someone with maybe at least 2 years of experience. So where we started before is saying like, hey, senior engineer,
right?
Your job description actually says mid-level. So our AI is saying, hey, you may want to choose both and see what's a better fit for you. Found US, it found the role back-end engineer. And it found 3 primary skills based on the job description. So if all of that looks good, I can just quickly apply that. And then you'll see over here, our filters have automatically been populated with our sort of magical color coding GunAI. And we can see right very quickly that we've got a list of talent that match all of those things that you were looking for. So, when you think about speed to result and the time that you can literally post something on another platform, you can be
Right.
matching talent and literally scheduling interviews in the amount of time that it takes just to get something off the ground on another platform. So that's a big part of what we're trying to do, is just make it seamless, easy, fast to get in front of the right people.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, I mean, and again, and my experience too, I mean, we've essentially built a mini version of LinkedIn Recruiter. I would say a simplified version. So again, any of my staffing buddies that are really looking for, another resource to go to search top end talent, I'd highly recommend this. And then of course, the way it works, like anybody can go on, create an account on our site. When do we, I mean, obviously if you create an account to check this out, we get pinged internally. So we're going to reach out to you, but you can mess around with these filters for free. I mean, at the end of the day, like we're only going to call you if like you want to talk to a candidate. Right. So, I mean, realistically, you can putz around on this and kind of see our inventory. Right.
Yeah, it's absolutely free to use. We get paid when you make a hire, and
Yep.
so everything that you do up until that point, we're gonna partner up with you, be there when you need us. We're gonna do some stuff on your behalf on the back end, so you don't have to sweat like all the details and scheduling and rescheduling and all of that stuff for you. Yeah, all of that stuff is there's no down payment or anything required. It's all free until like you want to make a hire, and then hey, everyone's happy.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome, man. That's really, really cool. Well, Gray, have we missed anything, man?
I think that's it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, again, thank you all for hanging out with us today. We appreciate it. Again, if you want to reach out to us, feel free to email us team@gun.io, team@gun.io. With any questions you may have, obviously check out Gun.io. Go create a hiring manager profile. Even if you're a recruiter, agency recruiter, and you just want to test out Discover Talent, obviously we'll ping you to make sure if you need something from us. But again, feel free to tinker.
Please don't.
Tinker around on the platform. But otherwise, you guys have a good one. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and we'll see y'all soon. Peace.